Welcome in. It's time for another edition of the Morning Espresso on the SDH Network, brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. I'm Jason Longshore. Some soccer news you need to know about for Thursday, May 22nd. Sure you've seen it by now, but Tottenham Hotspur ended a 17-year trophy drought, 1-0 win over Manchester United in the Europa League final. It was not pretty. I said going into it that it had the feel of a relegation battle, and it did. Um, the goal was not pretty. Tottenham was very. I'm not going to use the cliched term of pragmatic because pragmatic doesn't always equal defensive. Tottenham Hotspur were very defensive in this match, extremely defensive. And Ange Postecoglou told everybody he was going to win a trophy in a second year. He did. He did it in a very un-Ange kind of way in being very defensive. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's a kind of more of a long-term decision on what that means. But they get it done. He went with Richarlison over Son. He got the defense that he needed. They didn't buckle. They handled Manchester United, throwing Harry Maguire up top at the end. They got all of it taken care of. So Tottenham Hotspur are now in the Champions League next year. They have a $134 million bank waiting for them to go to the Champions League. We'll see if Postecoglou is there to take them into that. That's not a guarantee by any stretch. For Manchester United, according to reports, Ruben Amorim will be there for the rebuild. Tottenham Hotspur finished 17th in the Premier League this year. Or they will finish 17th. They have one more game. Manchester United was 16th. They needed this win, I think, more than Spurs did. Now, what does a season look like without Champions League football? Bruno Fernandes, does he leave? It's very possible. There is a real lucrative offer, both real in terms of genuine and real in terms of a lot of money, to join Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. He's got a decision to make. He said, I've always been honest. If the club thinks it's time to part ways because they want to do some cashing in or whatever, it is what it is. Football sometimes is like this. And that cashing in part is very, very important because this is a club in Manchester United that is losing money, even though they are bringing in large sums of money. And this is a club that lost out on straight up $90 million just instant, maybe as high as $169 million for a deep run into the knockout stage of the Champions League. They lost out on $4.5 million for not getting to play in the Super Cup against the Champions League title winner. Uh, they lost out on at least 25 to $30 million in terms of where their position is in the Premier League. They were 8th a year ago, dropping to 16th. That's going to be about $30 million of a loss in prize money from the Premier League. And you are probably, barring a Champions League win over the next 3 years, you're probably not going to get into the Club World Cup in 2029, which would be another large sum of money. You are also, on top of all of that, you're staring down the barrel of the profit and profit and sustainability rules in the Premier League, which allows you to lose 140.7 million over a 3-year period or face sanctions. Manchester United, over their last 3 years, has lost $316 million, which is more than double what you're allowed to lose. They can cite some exceptions, but how many can you actually cite? Jim Ratcliffe, who has the operational control of the club, even though he is a minority shareholder, he said in January, as part of the club, this is not sustainable. If we do not act now, we are in danger of failing to comply with PSR and financial fair play requirements in future years and significantly impacting our ability to compete on the pitch. So if you have a large offer for Bruno Fernandes on the table, you probably have to take it. You need to move on from Marcus Rashford. You have some homegrown players that are on large salaries, which is going to make it a little more difficult to sell. But Garnacho already wants to go, it sounds like. Kobe Mano didn't really feature in this match either. even though he was a big part of getting them there. You have a lot of hard decisions to make if you're Manchester United. And reportedly, they're going to give Ruben Amorim more time, which I don't have a problem with. I don't think he has the squad to compete, but I don't think he's going to get the squad to compete either. Not at the level that Manchester United used to be. Reportedly, he's going to be given a transfer budget of a little less than £100 million, and they're going to go after Mateus Cunha from Wolves and Liam Delap of Ipswich Town. Those are the prime targets. Reportedly, the club do not have to sell to buy either. I do not know how that is actually possible. Yes, Ratcliffe made cuts previously, and that's including a latest round of layoffs, which will take the total number of job losses to 450. But you're still losing money, and now you're going to go spend more. I'm assuming that that is the idea that you don't have to sell to buy is incorrect or bluster or PR speak. I think you are going to have to sell. And Bruno Fernandes would probably be one of those. Others, Marcus Rashford, I think you want to sell at this point. The young players, probably Garnacho, you're going to need to sell at this point after some of the comments he made after not getting more playing time in the final. You're in a really bad spot if you're Manchester United. And I will just remind all of you of this. They were last relegated in 1974. They did win promotion back to the first division in their first attempt. The type of financial issues that this club is staring at and the apparent lack of a plan to get out of it. I mean, is spending the money they're talking about spending on Mateus Cunha and Liam Delap going to change anything dramatically for this team? I'm not so sure that it is. And with all of that said, you're looking at a club that is 2 spots out of a relegation spot right now with what they have. And I don't know if they'll have as talented of a roster next year as they have this year. You can just start to look in the mirror and wonder what is next for Manchester United. Are they a major club in the world anymore? They might be in terms of revenue. On the field, I'm not so sure they're going to be able to retain that without something magical happening, either getting an amazing signing for a low price, having a homegrown come through and shock everybody. I don't know what else is going to be. Or Ruben Amorim is an absolute warlock in finding a way to make everything work. I just don't know. It is a very bad situation for Manchester United. And I think this loss makes it even worse and much more dire for them. I don't know if Spurs is out of their situation, but they're not in the financial problems that Manchester United is. I don't know how Manchester United gets out of their situation because of the financial problems, which are now exacerbated by losing in the Europa League final. U.S. men's national team looking like they're going to be without Christian Pulisic and Yunus Musah for the 2025 Gold Cup, according to reports. Fox Sports said that Pulisic would miss out on the tournament. The Athletic reported the omission of both players. This is a really difficult situation for Mauricio Pochettino, who is expected to speak on this when he speaks to reporters on Thursday after his squad announcement for the 2 friendlies against Turkey on June 7th and Switzerland on June 10th that precede the Gold Cup. When I had the chance to talk to JT Batson before the Atlanta United media game, JT spoke about how this summer was really the last opportunity before the World Cup for the majority of the roster to be together in an extended training period, about 40 days or so, with the friendlies and with the Gold Cup. Well, you already knew you were going to be missing the players who are in the Club World Cup, like Gio Reyna, like Weston McKennie, like Timothy Weah. Now you're potentially missing Pulisic and Musah. And Pulisic's played a ton of minutes, and he's pretty beat up, and I understand it. I'm wondering what this is going to look like in total. Is he going to spend time training with the team a little bit, but not play in the Gold Cup? This is going to be a tough one to manage. It's really going to be a tough one to manage, and it really makes it difficult for Pochettino because you're not going to have the bulk of the roster for an extended period of time and many, many key players. It's an opportunity for others, which people have to take. And I think Diego Luna is the one that you're looking at right now that could take a gigantic step forward. But it's a huge issue for Mauricio Pochettino, and I'm really curious to see what he has to say about it. Wednesday's Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup winners. You had 4 teams that came back from deficits to advance. Minnesota United was down 2-1 with 5 minutes to play. Anthony Markanek scored twice to beat St. Louis City 3-2. Red Bulls needed an Emil Forsberg goal on a free kick in the 3rd minute of stoppage time to go to extra time against Dallas. They won in penalties. DC United, they won in penalties over Charlotte. Jackson Hopkins got an equalizer, and he scored his first career goal in the 104th minute. Nashville won 3-2 at Orlando. They trailed in the first half, came all the way back to win. Concacaf W Champions Cup, it will be Tigres versus Gotham in the final. Gotham 3-1 winners over Club America in the semifinal. 33 minutes to get a 3-goal lead. Gese, Midge Purse, and an own goal gave them the 3-goal lead. They ended up conceding once. They win 3-1. Tigres 2-0 win over Portland Thorns. Aaliyah Farmer from California, she scored in the 9th minute off of a corner. And South African Thembi Gatlana scored in the 27th minute to make it 2-0 Tigres. So Tigres and Gotham in the final on Saturday for a spot in the 2026 Women's Champions Cup hosted by FIFA and the 2028 FIFA Women's Club World Cup. Let's stay in the NWSL for a minute. The new team in Boston will have to play at Gillette Stadium for their inaugural season in 2026. The renovations at White Stadium will not be ready in time, so they're going to have to play in Foxborough at Gillette. Club World Cup updates. Endrick for Real Madrid. Hamstring injury is going to keep him out of the tournament. In the Athletic, Jesus Vallejo, one of the center backs for Real Madrid, and this is a team that's got some injury issues at center back, he is not going to be part of the Club World Cup roster. He's out of contract at the end of the season, will not be extended. He's not in Xabi Alonso's plans, so he will be saying his adios to Real Madrid in their final regular season match this weekend. Johnny Cardoso of the U.S. men's national team, he is Atletico Madrid's top target in the summer, currently at Real Betis. They've been looking at him for a while. It's unclear if they would push to try to get this done ahead of the Club World Cup, but sources have told ESPN that Atleti see Cardoso as an ideal addition because even though he's only 23, he's got experience and very good experience in La Liga. Spurs do have a priority option on the midfielder, so that gets really complicated if they want to try to get this done ahead of Club World Cup. Maybe they won't be able to do that. We'll see. Boca Juniors, they're trying to figure out their coaching position ahead of the Club World Cup. Gabriel Milito, he declined the opportunity. Juan Ramon Riquelme has reportedly settled on Gustavo Quinteros, the manager at Vélez, who won the league title last year. But now there's reports in Spain saying that he is also on Sevilla's list of potential hires. So stay tuned on that. Boca still can't get that deal done. Monterrey has gotten their deal done for a manager. It's going to be Dome Tarrant. He is replacing Martin de Michelis. Tarrant comes in, he signs his contract. He'll be ready for Club World Cup. He's 62 years old. He is someone who is known as a legendary former assistant under Pep Guardiola. He managed NYCFC. He was last at Atletico San Luis in Mexico, where you're talking about a much smaller club that he was able to get to the semifinals in 2 tournaments. Teamwork, ball possession, a very Pep kind of style of play. He's going to Monterrey now for Club World Cup and for the Apertura in the fall. So, Wydad is one of the teams coming in from Africa, out of Morocco, and 4 weeks before their first Club World Cup game, their manager, Rulani Mokwena, has left the team. Mutual agreement to terminate the contract with immediate effect in a statement published earlier this week. They have not announced plans in replacing him ahead of Club World Cup as of yet. They will open against Manchester City and Philadelphia. They will then play Juventus and then Al Ain of the United Arab Emirates. So Wydad also has another situation here. They are affected by a FIFA ban on registering new players that can be signed in this special transfer window in early June. Typically, FIFA imposes the registration bans on clubs that have unpaid bills for transfer fees or for wages. Well, reportedly, the manager for Wydad, who is no longer the manager in Moquena, went several months without being paid. So this is an issue for Wydad, who's coming into this tournament, and they will not be anywhere near full strength. They won the Champions League in Africa in 2022. They were managed at that point by Walid Regragui. He left. He went to coach the Moroccan national team, took them to a semifinal at the World Cup. So after he left, there have been 9 coaches at Wydad since then. The next one will be the 10th. Current season under Moquena, they finished 3rd in the Moroccan league. They did not qualify for next year's Champions League. Big problems for Wydad coming into the Club World Cup. Let's look at another team in Africa that has had very good successes, and they've been led by Miguel Cardoso, who has gotten 2 teams into the Club World Cup, actually. Back-to-back championships in 2 of Africa's top leagues. Last season, Cardoso secured the Tunisian league title with Esperance. This season, he guided Mamelodi Sundowns to the South African Premier Division title. He's gotten both teams to the final of the African Champions League as well. Mamelodi Sundowns have won 8 straight South African League titles. They're in the Champions League final, which will be contested over 2 legs against Pyramids FC of Egypt. That starts on Saturday. Then they will get ready for Club World Cup. And Cardoso said that they want to showcase their full potential at the Club World Cup. Yeah, it's a difficult group, but it's a big opportunity for Mamelodi Sundowns, which is one of those teams to watch. And we shared a clip from Luis Enrique on our social media platforms. I think it's really interesting when you go into a tournament like this with Club World Cup where you might have a team that you root for in the tournament. Cool, that's who you're going to be rooting for. But you always see somebody else in the way that they play that grabs your attention, and you will be rooting for kind of as a second team. Mamelodi Sundowns is one that I want to see more of, and I'll be watching the African Champions League final. I'll be wanting to see more of this team. Who's going to be that team that you might not know yet that will grab your attention and you will want to become a fan of based on how they play? Is it an underdog run? Is it something about the style? Is it something about an individual player? Going to be a lot of fun as we all figure that out in the Club World Cup. Don't forget, new ticket options available, FIFA.com/tickets, hospitality packages as well, FIFA.com/hospitality. First game here in Atlanta, June 16th. Chelsea will play the winner of the play-in game, Club America and LAFC. Tomorrow, we'll be back with more updates on soccer all over the world, local, national, regional, and international. That's all on the Morning Espresso tomorrow morning, presented by Oglethorpe University.